Good morning. I'm going to have a look at Bitcoin again this morning, and then we'll have a look at some other things and just see what's going on. Okay, that's interesting. In the last bull run, the price didn't just go up. It didn't just go up. It did pull back. Back to this midpoint. So I don't see why we don't repeat that again this time round. And this is the monthly time frame. I don't see why we don't repeat that. I don't see why. It just we're going to come into some really high level resistance soon. It's like a monthly level. It's basically a yearly level, isn't it? Oh no, we've crossed the yearly level. Yeah. No, it's just a monthly level. Have a look at the weekly chart and see what's going on. Well, it did kind of go, this is the COVID low, it went up into the Bollinger, then it came back to the weekly before it started running. That's the runner. Look, if you look at the weekly chart, it just pushes. There's no entry really to see that behavior. So unless this is from here, this is from here, it goes up, pushes up, comes back down underneath it, comes back down underneath it, you don't really want to lose this midpoint now, I think. And probably the next great entry is going to be at the midpoint, this weekly midpoint. Probably looking at assuming that this COVID low was a black swan, you could almost delete it and just imagine that it did this. So I'm just thinking if we do that and then begin our run, but this is quite steep. Quite steep. So the midpoint of the Bollinger Band is 20 moving average. We calculate to see what 20 is. 20 bars. I'm going to be losing this bar here. 1, 2, 3, 4. In 4 weeks' time, it's still going to go up. And then probably it will flatten a little bit. Yeah, it's going to be really tight. Yeah, just now here the price did come back to the midpoint of this Bollinger Band before it held. Basically it kind of held. So I'm just wondering if we do come to this midpoint one more time. The midpoint comes up and 20 bars. So we're losing these lower ones now. So now this is actually going to start moving up. I think if you were to get an entry on this 20 moving average on the monthly time frame, I think that would be a gift. That would be a gift. That's kind of, you're waiting for that, because if you get that test, that's it. That's the test. And then it goes, then it starts running. And so the halving was, it tested before the halving here. This was the halving in March. No, it was May. May was the halving. So we're basically here. We haven't tested because we've just rallied. Can't tell what's happening. Looks really bullish to not test. No test. There's higher time frame bearish divergence in this move up, big time, and that's also something to consider, because you know you were about to reach the high on the price, but that's on this peak. Actually, maybe there isn't, because here you are higher. So this has to get higher. Basically at the moment there is divergence because it's lower. So really what needs to happen is you need to go higher. There's a little bit of divergence on the higher time frame here, and actually the MACD is highly divergent, because your price is just shot up and the MACD hasn't gone up with the price. So there's divergences on the higher time frame, which possibly suggests some kind of low volume rise. You kind of want high volume, huh? I think the problem with these low volume rises is that the price doesn't support the volume. So if you do get some kind of sell-off, Yeah, we're getting it here as well. We're getting some like higher time frame bearish divergences. Only slightly though. We had the crazy bullish divergence here because the price made a higher low and this made a lower low. Yeah. And this is the healthy kind of divergence. It means absorption. But the price was absorbed on the way down. The divergence that I'm seeing is just lack of participants. It's kind of lack of volume. It's not really the bearish divergence that people should be worried about, so to speak, because the one that you should be worried about is if the MACD was, if this like CCI was pushing higher and the price wasn't. So you were getting short absorption, the reverse of what we saw in the bottom. That's the bullish divergence was the good. This is the good divergence where you have lower on the indicator, higher on the price. So if you get higher on the indicator, lower on the price, that would be the divergence that we should be scared of. We're not there. So I'm not really scared of this divergence. It's just telling me that the rise has been a low volume rise in comparison to the price, which is normal because a lot of people are just hodling. Um, okay, let me have a look at the current price action and see if there's anything else to be said. I didn't take a trade yesterday. I had a planned trade, but I wasn't interested really in shorting. I was thinking about shorting this swing failure. I didn't see the reaction that I wanted to see. There's no need to take a trade really if the trade isn't correct. I was looking to long lower and that didn't come either. So I had an alert set for low which didn't activate. The alert that was higher did activate, but I wasn't crazy about the reaction into this swing failure level. It closed above on the hourly chart, closed below, but it was above this volume area, closed down into the volume area, back above the volume area. It's still showing very bullish price action, and you don't really want to short bullish price action like this. It's not fun because I can't see the weakness, and well, I've just extended the volume range now, and you know, look, the point of control is holding the price. We're pushing in the highs. we've cleared this previous high, I think. Go back. Yeah. And I think the thing is that there's a bit of a volume gap from the previous high all the way up. And that gap is about 7%. So it's very possible that we continue going up. I don't know if there's any resistance in the way, to be honest with you. Doesn't look like it to me, not at the moment. Yeah, I still think that's the long to be had, but you're just looking for the price to come down, swing failure to go up. But I don't think so, because there's so much that we just keep on making higher lows, so it's probably not going to present itself. Probably not. The other thing would be just to get up here and consolidate to go up, some kind of price action like that. But it's a tricky one because you really need to squeeze to go up, and at the moment we're not really squeezing. So maybe just market buying to go up. You kind of need someone to come in and just start buying at market. And like this move up, you had volume lower down, but really that was a squeeze. This move up was a squeeze. So you kind of get to the next level with a squeeze, and that's kind of what you want to do. To get that, you need to get bearish. We're not forming that kind of bearishness right now where you're going to start getting shorts load up. So there aren't really, I don't think that there are many shorts. I mean, you might get shorts which cover the longs if they're at a key position where they think the price could turn. Let me quickly have a look at EXO and see what that is saying. The price is going up. CVD is not. So what is that? Oh, I'm increasing the way there. That's that's 5.1 million minus 2.9. There's a bit of shorting in this candle, a bit of longing and shorting in this candle, bit of both. This is longs closing. Price going up, CVD not. That looks like lack of participants at the moment. So we're not necessarily, I don't necessarily think we're going to get some kind of squeeze at this current price range. I can't see it right now. You kind of want the price to go down now, actually, to kind of get people a little bit more bearish, and for the shorts to enter. Usually the shorts start entering at the lows. Got quite a tight range, and possibly we might get a tight range now for a few days, possibly. That was a short here. There's a short here, but I'm wondering if that short has been, the price is above his price. I'm wondering if this is this candle he closed out is short, this short here, or maybe some of it. It's quite a big short. These are shorts here. Look, see the price is moving down and the OI is going up. It's like a, so you have had we have had shorts. So there is some shorts in this price action at the moment. Some there. I am inclined to think that we should short this actually. Just, we are in the highs. If we don't get a squeeze, we short. I think that's the plan of action really, because I think it needs to be, we need to get bearish again on this in this price action to squeeze up, and so we're above this previous high. But unless we get bearish, we're not really, it's going to be like a slow grind up potentially. And I'm just trying to imagine the conditions for bearishness, which is going to allow the shorts to enter where the shorts can be squeezed for the price to go up. So I'm going to set an alert on this this pivot at the high here. Where did it go? It's not working. There it is. Oh my gosh. So I put an alert, and if I get a swing failure, I'll probably take that. I think I'll take that. And then head for the lows. I think we need to, possibly we need a more prolonged range to form. And the thing about these ranges is that the longer it forms, the more people start to trade the range. And as they trade the range, let's say we squeeze, we don't squeeze, we SFP, come back into the value area, then just kind of make our way down, you know, then do this and head back up. And so once you've got those pivots in, then people will start to kind of trade the range. And the longer you get this kind of prolonged range, the more that you're going to get invalidations build up above and below the significant pivots in this range. Okay. And then the next time, you know, if you make a lower high, price comes back down, and you make a higher low, you kind of get this kind of constricted behavior, maybe. And if it looks like it's kind of drooping a little bit, then you'll start getting shorts attacking the lows. And then maybe people will bring their pivots lower. And then you have a lot of shorts now shorting this range. And then it's a lot easier to squeeze, you know, because you can stop out all of these shorts and you're going to get higher buyers at the highs, and that's going to be the launch pad for the price to move up. Yeah, so you kind of need this, you need this kind of prolonged ranging where the price action is going to give the shorts confidence to enter this market. Okay, so right now I'm not going to short. People aren't shorting. I can see that. I can't see many shorts because people are waiting for higher. Now, if we get off another SFP here, you could start seeing shorts enter. You could start seeing them. Now, this doesn't have to do what I'm suggesting the way I'm suggesting it here. It's just an idea of what could happen. It could happen one of a million ways where the price can range and consolidate. But what you are looking for is that you can't trade unless you get some kind of consolidation here. A lot of people like to just trade the range and just scalp the highs, scalp the lows. Like, you're going to have people who are longing now or in longs, and their invalidation is going to be here. But what we need is we need the shorts. The shorts need an invalidation too. And I just don't think this is good enough. This isn't nice. This isn't really a nice pivot. I think you need something a little bit more profound, like this. Something really nice, like a really nice pivot, which is a bit more outstanding. Looks like a good nice selling tail. Price closes back underneath that previous high, local range. And then people can now start shorting the range, targeting the low of the range, and they have an invalidation now. And that's kind of, and then so you have longs with their invalidation, you have shorts with their invalidation, and it'll basically be a fight between longs, shorts, long, shorts. And the longer this kind of price action continues, the more shorts, higher buyers and validations will build up at the pivots, at the highs and at the lows. And that's how you will eventually get either a squeeze or, you know, or a failed auction. That's how you get that. And it all depends on the range actually, and how the range forms and the participants of that range. And then obviously I'm only really contemplating the traders who are using leverage, but you're also going to get spot buying and spot selling, which doesn't show up on exo charts. But at the moment, exo charts isn't really telling me anything. I can't see crazy spot buying. I can't see crazy spot selling. I can't see crazy shorting. I can't really see crazy behavior, and you kind of need crazy behavior for the price to move. And I almost think it's not a bad thing for the price to kind of be boring for a few days, kind of ranging in these highs. I think that would be nice. That will give people confidence to spot buy at the highs, you know, because everyone is like, there's a lot of people sitting in the sidelines with their capital and they still haven't entered, and they're looking to enter. So they're looking for lower, but if the price stays in these highs for an extended period, then what you're going to get is you're going to get some kind of situation where people grow tired or impatient and they start buying spot Bitcoin at these prices. That's because it's about acceptance, the acceptance of the price at these. If the price starts getting accepted above 50k, then people are going to have confidence to buy 50k. Now, I still think we need to correct in a very big way to flush out a lot of this leverage. Yeah, we have a lot of leverage in this move up, but you know, I don't make the rules. So I have no idea. Rename trades. I'll save that anyway. I've got an alert set for myself, so I have an idea of what I'm looking for. And it's not far from that location, so if it happens, I'll take it now on my phone. Look at that. It's a really extended run. A sign of things to come, actually. The thing is, you don't really want to come back underneath that high. That wouldn't look good. That would look very bearish, but you almost need the bearishness to some degree, because that's when shorts enter and that's when you can squeeze them, you know. That's how you push the price up. Very different behavior here than in price discovery. In price discovery, it's the difference. It's a different kind of behavior, because in price discovery, you're going to get people market buy. A lot of retail will market buy, and the order books will be quite thin, so the price will move really quickly, really fast, and you get a lot of leveraged people leveraging, because they'll get really greedy. Very different behavior to where we are now, because we're still cutting through levels and contemplating resistance levels. What else can I see in the charts? A little bit of reduction in volume on this up move. It's still good volume though. The 3-day candle closed but there's a 3-day candle that could easily turn. Got to be aware of that. Could turn right back down to test this. We could still come back and test this previous level. There's no reason why we don't come back down to test this level. Form some kind of head and shoulders and then head up again. You know, like that's exactly the kind of behavior you're looking for to squeeze shorts, because you want people to see some kind of topping pattern at a key level, but actually it's only coming back to back test a previous high to squeeze them up. That's kind of what you want to see. So I'm not necessarily seeing it right now. We just have to see how this plays out. And then obviously you could always get an injection of volume, because people are just market spot buying and the price just continues anyway. And I can't see the order book, so I don't know what the volume is going to be like. I wouldn't mind taking a short on that, though. That's kind of what I'm thinking, just another swing failure. I've got it planned like that. And then I would also think about a long, possibly of these pivot lows here, maybe not as far down there. Put it there. I don't necessarily think it has to go that far down. Put on that. It's a bit of lag. Where are you? Okay, whatever. All right, I think that's Bitcoin. Let me quickly have a look at ETH, BTC, ETH. ETH is just looking really bullish. See, ETH didn't even make a lower low. I think ETH looks more bullish than Bitcoin, to be honest with you. Yeah, there's nothing really to say about ETH. What's this one? Yeah, nothing. I mean, the total crypto market cap is just plowing. It's just going for it. So soon we'll be at 2 trillion. It doesn't look like there's no stopping this, really. See about these. But yeah, Binance Coin has been doing quite well as well. Good morning, Warchild. Binance Coin has been doing really well. So it was down at 288 only a few days ago, only like a couple of weeks ago. Now it's up at 346. That's kind of what you want to see. You want to see these ETH and Binance do well, because that will mean the rest of the altcoins will then follow. So the fact that Binance Coin is back at 346, so we're back at the highs from April last year, and if you've got the same kind of idea on ETH, they're at $2,798. So you really want ETH and Binance to be pushing hard, which they are. Probably, yeah. So Warchild is asking, do you think we'll hit 3 trillion this run? Yeah, I do. Oh, 6 trillion. Well, let's have a look. So I've got the total market cap in this higher time frame channel, and we're basically on the wave 5 now. So this is the caveat. Based on this, I can see that the wave 3 was shorter than the wave 1, therefore the wave 5 has to be shorter than the wave 3. So the wave 3 can't be the shortest. So you see, this is the 1, that's the 2, this is the 3, this is the 4, and we're in a 5. The 5, because this one was shorter than the 1, you can't have the 5 to be now longer. So this is incorrect, what I've just drawn. So it just can't be longer than the 3. So if I was to now just roughly draw a line, so yeah, I mean, your max is going to be about the max is going to be $19 trillion in this run. That's the max. So at least we have that established. You can't go more than about $19 trillion. But based on fibs, this was a fib extension. So a 1.618, which would be extended, you're looking at 7.2 trillion. I think that would be okay. I think most people will be okay with that. And if you do the same thing from this one here to here, we got into the 1.618. So from this pivot here down to this pivot here, we got to the 1.618 before. So there's no reason to think that we don't get to the 1.618 this time. So that would basically put the target at about 7 trillion. So yeah, so we're looking at 7 trillion based on previous price behavior. And obviously what will happen is we'll go up there and we'll just kind of whatever and then come back down. That's kind of what I'm foreseeing. So we might get to a level and then we'll just kind of stop, and it'll be like this where we go up, come back down, it'll go up, come back down, it'll go up, then it'll drop. Yeah. So a prolonged area where we're going to be at the highs. That's going to be basically alt season, where a lot of the alts will rally when we're in that position. And in terms of timing, let me just do a some kind of fib time. Let me see. Let me have a look. No. Can't really tell. It's not very easy. We just have to see how it plays out, because the more data you have, the easier it is to figure out future time. At the moment, it's not very easy. These timings are a little bit off as well. See, maybe the COVID low wasn't the pivot, because if you ignore the COVID low and you just go to this low here, so this is the COVID low. That was the low before the COVID low. So if you go to this low, then you get a 618 on time on the peak, and then you get a 1 on the low, the bear market low. So that means this looks right, actually, the timings on this based on this pivot here. So then basically that gives us the next peak will probably be October 24. So October this year is the peak, and then basically exactly a year later in November 25 will be the end, possibly. So you could get a situation where we just go up there, and then we get some kind of consolidation, and it's like that. It's kind of what I'm imagining based on these fib times. So what I'm saying is that this too didn't go to the COVID low, it went to the low before the COVID low, and that would line up the fib time with this high here and this low here, which kind of makes sense. And it has to make sense, you know. You with it's all maths, so it's all logical. So if it doesn't work, then you've probably got the wrong numbers. I like that, actually, so I'll keep that. I'll keep these in mind. So our next pivot time, fib time, is going to be sometime in October. And then I wonder if we do see something like this up to about 7 trillion. And then the other thing you can do is some kind of trend-based fib. That kind of lines up, look, with the 786, see? 786. So there's a bit of confluence, which is what you want to see. See that? It kind of lines up with the 168. I like that, actually. I really like that. So that is my target. My target is 7.2 trillion. All right. All right. That's it. We've done it. We've solved the riddle. And that would put us, that's like a 3.5x from where we are now. Right? That's not bad. So let me just have a look at TRVL. We had a little bit of a a sell-off last night. Let me just see what that means. So basically, someone market sold, and we had that behavior on all of the exchanges. So Warchard's asking, if we hit 6.7 trillion, what does that mean for BTC? I mean, it depends with BTC actually, because it depends on the BTC dominance when we hit that level. But I mean, if BTC dominance is at 50%, see, right now BTC is at 1 trillion. So if we go to 6 trillion and BTC dominance is at 50%, so right now BTC dominance is at 54%, well, you can work it out. If BTC is at 1 trillion now and BTC dominance is at 50%, then that means BTC is going to be at $150,000. It's basically how it works. Right? So that means that BTC could get up to here. So we have to keep an eye on that crypto market cap, because possibly when you get into those highs, BTC dominance will drop off a little bit, possibly. So we have to see how that plays out. And actually with BTC dominance, I don't really, unless we have some kind of crazy breakout, I don't necessarily imagine that it's going to get past about 60%. And then I think it will probably start coming back down again. Yeah, but we'll see. Who knows? No one knows. So TRVL had a little bit of a little sell yesterday. This was a bit of a market sell, and all of the exchanges had this similar kind of sell. We had 81k. It's not much on MEX. On Gate it was 149,000. On KuCoin, which had the most volume, it was 342,000, and on Bybit it was 163,000. I think probably about 700,000 total in that 1 hour. So there was a big sell. Now I've got this higher time frame horizontal line on KuCoin that I'm hoping that we hold as support. Now, at the moment we're underneath it. What does that mean? Nothing really, because this is a higher time frame level. I'm looking for a higher time frame hold, and so naturally I'm looking at the weekly time frame. I'm not looking at necessarily the daily time frame, because when you look at the daily time frame, you can panic. People panic because we're back underneath it. I zoom in, you'll see that we closed underneath that level that I had in mind, and today we're kind of back testing it a little bit, confirming it as a level on the daily. So there is definitely a level that we're playing around right now on the, so the price isn't going to easily move through that level. It's a level to be contended with, and we have to see what happens on the end of the week. So what does this mean for TRVL? Are we now going to zero? Well, look, this is the way I see it. First and foremost, when you're looking at when you zoom in on KuCoin, which is the one that's showing most of the volume, the other kind of exchanges are following KuCoin at the moment. Yeah, it's because of the volumes on KuCoin. And what I'm seeing with KuCoin is that even though we've fallen underneath that that level that I have marked, if I do if I pull the fixed range, which I had it before, I'll bring it back again. I'll just do it again. So if you do a volume pull from this candle to here, you can actually see that the volume range is kind of in the midst of this level. And let me just pull it back a little bit more, kind of expand the range a little bit. So you can almost see, let me just see what I was seeing. So let me just do it from this candle. So basically what I'm seeing is that this is the candle that took us in. And you can see how this wicked down to here. And you can see how it's come back down again to here. So I think actually what I'm seeing is that the volume range on KuCoin is slightly wider, and it's kind of overlapping this line in the sand. Even though this line is being respected, you can see it's being respected here, here, and now we're coming back into it. It's being respected. There is a wider kind of volume range that's in play on KuCoin. KuCoin is leading at the moment, so that's why I'm kind of focusing on KuCoin. I'm less concerned about the other exchanges. So that's something else to note. So it looks like we're creating volume in and around this level on the lower time frame, i.e. the daily or the hourly or the 4 hourly or whatever. This is kind of normal. Like, you are getting a little bit of indecision around this level right now. And this is a very high time frame level. You're not just going to get bouncing off on the low, you know, it's just not going to happen. We're going to have to contend with this level for a while to see what happens. Yeah, that was normal. I did say we should be prepared for that. You know, like, even if the price in the daily time frame does come under, it is possible that the price comes back up, just like it did here. You know, this is also possible. The other thing that I'm thinking to myself, well, I see this as an opportunity, because over the last 4 weeks, yeah, we've crossed this level once, we've pierced it once, and now we've closed above it once. You know, like, this is the last 4 weeks. The price is trying to get through. That's what I'm saying. The price is not saying no just because right now we're kind of trading slightly underneath that level. The price is saying, I want to get through. I want to get through. So you're going to get this kind of behavior on a key level. It's like a really important level. And the reality is that for the price to go higher, you have to get through this level. You have to flip it into support. It has to happen. Like, whether it happens now or whether it happens in a few months' time or in a few weeks' time or days' time, no one can predict that. But whatever happens, this line has to flip from a resistance line to a support line. It just has to happen. Okay? And basically, what does that mean? That means that if you buy underneath this line, you're buying it underneath a future support line. So you're buying it cheap with respect to future price action. That's what I'm saying. Effectively, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So anything underneath this line is effectively will be discount, because in the future, and I don't know when that future is going to be, it could be now, it could be next week, it could be in a few weeks' time, this line will have to flip into it will no longer be a massive resistance line, it will become a massive support line. Yeah, horizontal support line. Now, I don't know how long that's going to take. And you know, the price never does what you want it to do. Yeah. So of course I don't want the price to go down, of course. Yeah. But I see it as an opportunity. So last night, when I saw the price dipping, I was buying. Of course I was, because I'm seeing this line as a future support line, which almost held but hasn't held yet. So naturally, as the price goes down, I'm seeing that as an opportunity to buy lower. Now the question is, how long do you wait for that to happen? Well, you don't wait, you just keep on buying, yeah, because you can't really predict how far the price could go. Could it go lower? Yeah, of course it can. It can go lower, but ultimately what you're doing is you're averaging in. That's what I've always said. I'm saying the best way to trade these low market cap tokens is to dollar cost average in, and then you'll always end up with a good average at the lows. You're basically catching the lows. Now if your average is underneath anywhere in this range, then you have a great average. Now I don't know if the price needs to go down to go up. I don't know that. That could also happen. It could happen. And so people are then thinking to themselves, well, why am I buying now when I can just wait for lower? And I think that's true. Yeah, I think that's true. I think because we have a line in the sand now, you don't have to just buy now, because it's easy to wait now, because the invalidation is so close. You could just wait for the price to do this and then start buying again. You could do that, yeah. And then you don't have to, and then you can either look for lower and buy, or you could just, because we're so close to that horizontal support and resistance line, you could just wait. It's very possible that you just do that, or just buy lower. Now the best way to buy as a bull is going to be limit orders, because what we effectively want to do is we want to exhaust the sellers. That's what we want to do. We want to exhaust these market sellers, and the way to exhaust them is for them to sell at market and for the price to not move, because there are a large amount of limit orders in the way. Now, where do you put your limit orders? That's a question. I always think it's good to put limit orders at the lows of wicks or at significant levels. Yeah. Now the next significant level, the daily level, is much lower down at 3.8 cents. And I think if the price starts coming down there, I think a lot of people are going to get bearish again. But actually that's a good place to buy. That's where you're buying. That's where you would place your limit orders. And I think people selling down there are mad, because on the higher time frame they'll be selling into really high volume levels of support. So I've drawn this before. Draw it again. Actually on KuCoin it's a little bit lower. That's the highest level of support, but in this range, you see, in this whole range, this range which began on the 12th of January, yeah, you're selling into a support line, which is that point of control. That's the highest volume level in this range. It's quite interesting that on KuCoin what's happened is the price has gone up to the value area high of this range. So actually on KuCoin it looks like we're ranging. There is a little bit of respect around this higher time frame SR flip, but this is going to have to play out on the weekly time frame. We're not going to see results on an hourly chart or on a daily chart necessarily. And naturally, when I was looking at the 3-day chart yesterday, I could see that we lost that line that I had, we lost it. Okay. I don't necessarily think that means anything. Like, I'm not looking at that and going, oh my God, we're going to zero. Yeah, I'm not thinking that way, for different reasons. But the main reason is that that is a weekly time frame or higher level, and you just can't see how the price is going to behave around that level on the lower time. It just doesn't work like that. That's more of an area than an actual level, a line in the sand. But the price has reacted around it as though there is a line in the sand. You can see how the candles are forming around it, and I expect that to continue. But eventually what's going to happen is that the sellers will exhaust. Eventually that's what's going to happen. I think right now we've turned momentum, and the momentum now is starting to build on an upward trajectory. You see how the daily 50 moving average is here, and you know that's going to continue moving up. The 200 daily moving average is turning, and you know, even if the price does manage to get back down to this point of control, you're going to have quite strong support to take the price back up. So we are turning the momentum, and eventually we as bulls, what we want to do is we want to get to the next level. That's what we want to do. We just want to keep on doing that. We just need to keep on going level to level. It's going to take time, but it's always slow to begin with. It's like pushing a large vehicle, slow to begin with, but once you get it going, it's going to start speeding up, and then the momentum of the vehicle is going to carry itself. Okay, and so what we're doing now in turning these moving averages is changing the momentum. It's a shift in momentum. Everyone is participating in this right now, and the key for us is to absorb the selling with limit orders, and just keep on absorbing their limit orders, and try not to market sell. Try not to market sell, you know, because we're very early in this endeavor, and you know, eventually down the line everyone is going to be greatly rewarded, because we'll end up with really amazing bullish momentum, which is going to take us to the moon. Literally, we're all going to TRVL to the moon. We're traveling to the moon. That's obviously a joke, but you know, take it how you want. When I look at the Bitcoin chart with TRVL, you see the price did drop yesterday, but look where we are. We're just above the golden cross, above the 50 moving average, above the 200 moving average. It's such a great place to buy with respect to Bitcoin right now. Look, the overall range point of control is now only 2.8% beneath us. Good morning, David. You made it. Welcome. So I think it's a really good place to accumulate TRVL. Personally, the momentum is shifting. Look at this golden cross. The momentum is shifting from a downtrend to now what I foresee an uptrend, and we don't have that much work to do really. All we have to do is absorb the sellers and let the price go up. Then at each level we're absorbing sellers, and really that's where we want to get to on the Bitcoin chart. We want to get above this monthly level that I've marked off. There's quite a lot of volume in that node. We can get there. That would be an achievement, and that is 50% higher increase in value compared to Bitcoin. So I don't mind if Bitcoin goes up and then the TRVL value with respect to Bitcoin goes up, because then it means the TRVL fiat value will go up even more. All right. So we're about to turn the trend on Bitcoin, and look how the trend, look what happened when we turned the trend on USDT. Look, it took some time. We're basically, look, when it comes to Bitcoin, when we turn the trend on USDT, we're basically here where the cross just happened. We're here. See that? So on Bitcoin, we're here because we've just crossed and we're in a range and we're just here. And so when you look at the Bitcoin chart, you see, we're in a range. The price has just crossed. So potentially, even if this does kind of consolidate a couple more days or a few days, now what I want to see is some volume. That's what I want to see. some volume to take this up, and then now we can really start to shift the momentum. And in the future, what you're going to get is you're going to get this 50 moving average. It's going to start going up. The 200 is going to start turning. The price will go up, consolidate, and then we can just keep on building the momentum in the future. All right, and that's the bull run. That's basically the running of the bulls, and that's what we want to do. We want to run with the bull. So that's TRVL. Just to recap on Bitcoin, because David wasn't here. Quick recap. I'm just looking at the price action. I have an SFP of this high in mind. If we get an SFP, I'll kind of take that short and then just try and trade it down to the bottom of the range. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I can't see any divergences at the moment. It's quite flat, actually. It looks like lack of interest. So we have to see how that plays out. I put an alert. So I'm kind of thinking to myself with Bitcoin, this range will probably prolong for a little bit. So I've done TRVL, I've done Bitcoin. Any questions, anyone? Anyone have anything to say? Grok started to move last night. So let's quickly have a look at Grok. Oh wow, we're back into the value area. That was a turn of events. It's crazy. That's quite bullish. We've turned this downtrend. We've broken out of it. I think I would exit at the point of control though. If you're in a long, I mean, get out there. But we are in the value area. Maybe what you'll get is you'll get the price to go up. Maybe for a back test. And the 50s coming around. You've got these support lines here. So you kind of don't want to get back underneath that line. That almost is like an SR flip. Let me check something else out. And get rid of this channel now. It's rubbish. Get rid of this line now. It's rubbish. Let me have a look. No. I really don't like the price action on Grok, to be honest with you. It kind of over dipped. Didn't like that. But there is some good news. So yeah, so this SR flip that I've marked, David, is also corresponding to 236 of this fib pool. So I think it'd be very unhealthy to lose that now. That's it's only 15% lower down. I think it'll be really bad to lose that line now. and that wouldn't be nice. You can't lose that line because you'd be losing the value area low. You'll be losing this like pivot low here, which is acting as a some kind of support resistance line, and it corresponds nicely with the 236. So definitely don't want to lose that. If you lose that, then you could probably be going lower. And something else to note is there was no real impulse here. Like, although it launched, you don't really class that launch as an impulse. There was no like, I mean, possibly this is still in a consolidation pattern on the higher time frame. And you have a lot of volume, trapped liquidity in these highs. Yeah, so we're coming into trapped liquidity. You have an injection of volume here and here. Let me have a look at that. 354 million, 7 million, 351 million. I don't know what that means. It's quite a large amount of volume to come in for this token, to be honest with you. I think what you want to see is now, just for confirmation, you know, just to see a little kind of, just to see it hold, you know. I think you want to see a hold to give you a little bit of assurance that this is now holding. It's back in the value area. And actually what I'm seeing is there has been a bit of volume put into these lows here. See that? So that's not that's not bad. The fact that the price is back into the volume area is good too. Maybe it would have been better to move for the POC to move lower and for the value area to just shift down a little bit, but it hasn't happened. So we still have to see, because there's going to be trap liquidity on the way up. So I think possibly what we're going to experience, if this is now starting to move, is some kind of, I don't really see us going past the point of control, because it's lining on an SR flip and a 382 as well. I just don't see it, but I mean, maybe, you know, who knows? And then we have to see what happens. So like, I think you kind of want it to go into the point of control, pull back to the value area, and then see what low, and then see what happens. See if there's a hold or not. And at the point of control, you're looking at 6658. That's kind of where you're at. Probably this 382. But you see what happened here? It closed above. So if you get a close above, that might be something, you know, it might be a sign that we're continuing. But you have the point of control there. It's in the way. And then if you want to do it range, Majid is asking for an update on DOT. I'll have a look. If you do these volume pulls, you do these volume pulls kind of mini range to mini range if you want. Don't know what just happened. Why is this not working? What the hell? Why is it going all the way there? I don't understand. Just that. Okay. Why did it do that? So weird. Yeah, the ranges are too short to see. No. You need bigger ranges. It's not, they're too tight. And I don't really like the way the price is like shot up, because I think that, you know, like that could be sold into. You've got volume gaps. There's no support. The support is there. It's not really a healthy rise, you know. It would have been better if it would have formed some kind of head and shoulders pattern to break, which it hasn't done. So I don't really like that, to be honest with you. I'm not enthusiastic about the way this has come up. So just bear that in mind. I'm not a fan. I think just exit at the point of control and reevaluate. Because whatever happens, even if you exit there, the price is going to come back. You know, it's not just gonna go up. It's gonna kind of do this, and then maybe it will do that if it wants to go up. So it just gives you time to figure it out. All right, I don't know. Excuse me. I haven't had a look at dot in ages, to be honest with you. So I'll quickly have a look at dot. That's the market cap. Okay. This 6-month candle pattern is a reversal. This one here. And we've had our pullback now. So that's quite healthy. This last 3-month candle, which closed at the end of December, is a very nice candle. Nice increasing volume. Swing failure of the lows there. Really nice candle. So this is just kind of a back test, some kind of back test, volume gap fill. And then looks like the price is coming back up. This is quite nice. It's good price action. It's kind of what you want to see on dot. Yeah, we almost back. It almost came back to the point of control, and now it's coming up. This is really good. The volumes are at the low. That's what you want to see. You want to see the volume at the lows. You don't want to see the volume in the highs. See the volume profile, it's all here. That's a high volume node there with a really nice weekly, similar to a lot of other coins and Bitcoin as well. That's your high volume node there. Basically there, just above it. And it's prevented the price coming back to the point of control. And on this weekly time frame, you've cleared the liquidity from these lows. Yeah, with this candle. So that's a good candle. That's what you want to see into the high volume node. And now the price is coming out of it. It's kind of what you want to see. It's kind of following Bitcoin, but a little bit slower. So I think a lot of these tokens are following Bitcoin, but they're just a little bit lagging because Bitcoin kind of did that too. So there's a trade there. It's a higher time frame trade, but there's a trade there. Because you have your invalidation. And your target is $24. That's your first target. Probably the golden pocket. But I think if you get that high, you would probably hit the value area high, but still you play it safe. You take your profit at the golden pocket. $19, $20. That trade in itself is a 1 to 6 risk 1, a 6.16 reward with this wide stop that you have now. This is quite a wide stop. You don't need this kind of wide stop. You could hone it down to improve your risk to reward. Very similar to a lot of altcoins right now that I've seen. I'm seeing very similar patterns forming. DOT is a good one for sure. DOT is definitely a good one. There's a lot of interest in DOT. So let me check something out. I don't know if I see like Elliott waves here though. Look. There's the 1, that's not the 3. There's no 5. Don't see it. I don't see Elliott waves. Don't know. Can't see it. It might be there, but I can't see it. Because that was the launch. There's nothing there. I don't think that's one. So unless you have one there. Oh, there it is. That was your one. Right. I've got it. It's really weird, but that's kind of what I'm seeing, which would make sense. And would the 3 just be there? No. Yeah. No, don't know. I don't really like it, to be honest. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I don't like this. It's hard. I don't really like this. You could just be in a range, to be honest with you. I don't necessarily think this is breaking out. Although arguably you could say it has broken out because it went from $2 to $55. But it is very possible that this is just ranging, you know. Just bear that in mind. Just because these are like higher market cap tokens. They have a different kind of behavior to the really small ones, which have the ability to break out and forms like 5 waves this is already quite a high market cap. Hold on. So this is 10 billion right now. To the highs, you're probably looking about 60 billion. I don't know if it's going to get higher. I think it could, but there isn't much volume. So the biggest resistance is going to be kind of here, right at the point of control, at the value area high. And I think then you have to see what happens, like how impulsive it is. Like if we are forming some kind of five, maybe this is the 5 wave now. It starts now. Because I don't know if I see it in the past. I don't know if I see Elliott waves here in this price action. Maybe this whole thing is consolidation. And there's a lot of volume coming in here now compared to this down move. This is the 5. It looks like this could be the first wave. Let's see where that ends. These fib lines are really important. You could just trade, like with something like DOT, just trade the fib lines. It's so easy to see because you have all of this price action, right? Just draw it from the top to the bottom on the log chart. Yeah. The price is clearly back above the 236. That's your invalidation. And then, you know, you're going up level to level. Up to the 382, then up to the 50%, which isn't fib, but it's still relevant, and then up to the 618. Just keep on doing that. That's really what I would suggest with something like DOT. Just what the idea is that you'd be taking profit like 50%, and then the pullback should be putting it back in. It's kind of what you're doing. And then if you take profit here, the price goes up, comes back down, you can put it back in to go up. I think that's the best strategy of something like this. It's quite a large market cap. It doesn't move that fast. Yeah. And you have really clearly defined fib levels, which seem to be respected. Look, they look like they're being respected at the moment. It's a very different trading this than some other coins. But look, see that 50% there? And then look at this one, this 382, it's there. To here. Almost came to it here. The 236. They look like it's being respected, these lines. So that's what I would say. That's what I think about this token. And we are actually in the range. So I think when it comes to these tokens, trade the range. So we're basically moving up from the bottom of the range here. And the trajectory is to the top of the range here. Yeah. And so that, from where we are now, it's not much. Again, it's like a 2x. It's hard to trade this unless and make money unless you're using leverage, because it doesn't move that much. Compared to some of the smaller coins. I think BNB would move much more than this. Oh, actually, probably not. I think a lot of these coins will probably do really well in price discovery at the peak of the bull market. So if the price gets above its all-time high eventually, that's when they're going to start really potentially rallying hard. but we just don't know when that's going to happen, and we don't know if all these tokens are going to do that. The assumption is that they will, but it's not true. And I think it's a lot of, you got a higher probability in making more money on a new token that's launched in this bull market, which is already a small market cap. So yeah, that's kind of what I think, but it's not a bad, like if you're accumulating, there looks like some kind of Wyckoff going on here, by the way. I can kind of see a little bit of a Wyckoff accumulation pattern here. So that's something to bear in mind. Let me just pull it up and I'll draw it out for you. So maybe that's something to bear in mind. Behind these. Can you see it? So we had our PS. It's not exact. PS AR. That's your AR. It's not exactly the same. CST. It's probably a C there. Don't know where the ST is. Maybe there, but it didn't go all the way to the high. ST phase B. It's there. That's the spring. There's definitely a spring. You see that? Maybe a tester. That's your LPS, huh? That's your lowest point of support. So that's really good. That's kind of where we are now, I think, with this LPS there. So the buy up to the last point of support will be on the AR. So what you're expecting for the next move, this is, if this is Wyckoff is playing out, this is going to be really easy to trade. The LPS comes here. So if we're in the LPS, then you're expecting a buy up, and the SOS is going to be above the AR into the PS. So what you're actually expecting now is up, consolidation, and the markup. It's kind of what you're expecting now. And then you have these resistance lines. AR is going to be your LPS. So you have an LPS and a buy up there. These texts are bigger. I think that's what we're looking at now. I don't know if you see it, but it looks very similar. Yeah. So where do you enter? Do you enter now? Well, if you enter now and this LPS is correct, then you have an invalidation. It's that it's that red line that I've marked, which would be down here. and we've already sprung and we've already tested. Now we've come into the LPS, that's there. Then the next move is up into the SOS, which is above the AR, and the AR will form as a SR flip, which will be your last point of support. All right, there you go. There's your plan. I've just did it for you. Now you have a map. Let me just make these a little bit smaller because they're a bit big. They're too big. Well, but they're quite good that they're big, aren't they? Yeah, sleeping big, whatever. So how does that look like in the context of fibs? There you go. So your buy up and LPS is going to go above the 382. Yep. Let's have a look at this fixed range. For sure, you're going to have some higher time frame resistance here in the golden pocket. And I think after you have a Wyckoff accumulation, you're going to have a markup, and then somewhere in the future you're going to have a distribution. Yeah, it's going to be some kind of, who knows what the distribution is going to look like. It could be anything. It could be a blow off top, it could be a double top, it could be head and shoulders, it could be a Wyckoff distribution, it could be something else. There's going to be some kind of distribution if this is accumulation, right? So just bear that in mind. And I think if we get back to the all-time high, which if this schematic plays out, there's no reason why we don't get back to the all-time high. That's a 6x. Good thing about DOT is it's quite a lot of volume. There's a lot of interest. So you're not going to see crazy fluctuations in price unless you get into price discovery. And if we get into price discovery, somehow consolidate there, then you just do a fib extension. I'll do it for you now. There's your targets. If it overextends, you're looking at 299, but probably your first line of resistance is going to be somewhere between 116 and 171. Yeah, that would be your kind of, if you overextend, you could kind of, yeah, something like that is possible, right? That's kind of where you're looking at. So if you do, from where we are now, if it does get to the 1.272, that's a 14x. So if you're currently at, what did I say the market cap was? 10 billion, then you're looking at 140 billion to the first extension level that I would be considering as major resistance. And that could make sense in the context of Bitcoin. Bitcoin could make a lot of sense, right? So I really honestly think we're in some kind of Wyckoff accumulation, just looking at the way this price is formed in the lows. Yeah, I think it's very similar to what I'm looking at with TRVL as well. I've done a TRVL Wyckoff before. In my ignorance, I deleted it. I think TRVL has some kind of Wyckoff. I think with the DOT, it's a lot easier to see. I think with TRVL, it's a lot harder to see the Wyckoff that I'm imagining with TRVL. Yeah. I think with DOT, it's a lot easier to see the Wyckoff accumulation. That's probably why Daniel is so bullish on it, because he sees these things. Yeah, this is really, look, that's clearly some kind of accumulation pattern in the lows with a spring. You have a really nice spring. Bang, test, LPS. We're into the LPS now. It's a really nice place to start accumulating now. Because if this LPS holds, that's it. That's your lowest point of support. All right. Anything else, guys? Questions? Questions? There's 5 viewers. That's amazing. Or 4 or 5. Don't know. It goes up and down. Well, thanks for joining me today. If you don't mind, excuse me, if you don't mind, could you just click on the like button? That would be much appreciated. I don't know if I can do it myself. Is there a like button? It's a heart button, isn't it? Excuse me. I don't even see the like button. David was telling me, tell them to click on the like button. I don't even see it, David. Where is the like button? Excuse me. I think I'm going to try and draw the Wyckoff on TRVL again, because I did have that once. I just want to see if it's still following it. Find it again. Yes, 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 PSARST. So you basically that's the ST. AR. Spring. Test. Where's your LPS? We're at the LPS. We're underneath it. It's above the ST. So the ST, there's 2 STs. That's the SC. So you have some kind of ST there. For some reason, this is lower. Unless Let me see. It's weird how the ST here is lower. Doesn't make sense. Shouldn't be lower, should be higher. Should be there. It's kind of right now. It's the SC, so the LPS is above the SC. I mean, really, your last point of support is going to be, should be higher than the ST. We still have a way to go, huh? We still have a way to go, I think. Unless this was just a really bearish. This is really bearish. And then that was your PS. It's like a PS there. Could that, oh, that could be better. But so you have your PS, SC, AR, ST, bearish. ST in phase B up to the AR. That makes sense. Look. Down to the spring and test. LPS has to be above the ST. And if the ST is here, that would make sense because it's above the SC, which it is. To actually, if we flip this into support, that's your lowest point of support. See that? And then that would be your LPS. So this is the actual MEX chart. It has the correct fibs. It's not the same as KuCoin. I'm almost thinking that maybe this is the one that we really need to flip into support. So I'm almost now thinking to myself that the last week's weekly candle didn't close above the fib, which is the actual line. And we're just consolidating underneath resistance now, which is why we went down a little bit, because it's just consolidation. We're still consolidating underneath resistance. And we still haven't moved up to kind of, we have to really flip this line into a, because that would make sense, because then we're above, this LPS is above the ST, above the SC, and effectively what you're doing is pushing up, flipping that into support, and then you have the buy up, which is going to take us above the AR. You can see the AR. Is there. The buy up takes us above the AR into some kind of SOS. I don't know. Let's see. We can keep an eye on this to see if this plays out like this. But this is kind of how it would look like. You do have this trend line. Let me see these ones. So you have that parallel line which I've got from before. Let me just mark it as red or green. See these trend lines. You've got this trend line. That one's already broken. What's these ones? Get rid of that one. Get rid of that one. What's that anchored VWAP? Oh, that's much lower. We can get rid of these now. What's that horizontal array? That's your 9 cents mark. I'm going to share this. I'll connect it to the back of the video, and then I'll see what people think, because I would like to get other people's ideas about this. Like, I'm no expert. I'm just, you know, this is crypto is a continual learning experience, charting. And the more you see stuff, the more you do stuff, the better you get. But I am thinking we're still possibly in this kind of accumulation. So I'd like to see if people can give me their ideas and opinions about this and see what they think. I think if we do flip, so there's a bit of subjectivity about this support line, because obviously on KuCoin it's different. And maybe I needed to do this on KuCoin as well. It's very hard because we're doing, KuCoin has the most volume, but the chart looks different just because of where it started. You almost want more volume to now come on MEX to take over, so we have better charting. But if that's the LPS, which is the lowest point of support, we need to break it and test it to go up, which is the buy up. And we're above the AR. And then this is the sign of strength. And that's the markup. So you have an SOS, and then you have the buy up and the last point of support. All right. David is saying, spam the likes and hit the subscribe button. Definitely do that. Definitely hit like. All right. So this is kind of what I'm imagining as well, like a Wyckoff accumulation pattern on TRVL. One thing you have to remember with Wyckoff is not always exactly what as the schematic. Like, this is just this one schematic of one chart. You know, the idea is correct, but you know, we don't know. It doesn't have to exactly follow this, like not exactly. But let's see how this plays out. If we have to flip this LPS into support. So this is where we're at now, potentially. And we've had our test, we've had our spring. This is really good. If this has happened, if all of this is correct, then we're in a really, really strong place, potentially. Because all we have to do now is just flip that level into support. And then the next move is the buy up. And that's the one that's going to take us into the sign of strength. That's going to be pushing into the lower part of this channel that I have, hopefully. And then we'll see that'll be a higher high on the weekly time frame. And then we just have a higher low. And then we're off to the races, basically. We're good to go. And potentially we don't even get back to 9 cents. And that's kind of what I'm seeing here as well. Because if you do have that sign of strength, this is looking to me like a Adam and Eve pattern now. if we get this kind of behavior. No, there's your Adam and there's your Eve. And so the other thing we have to bear in mind is, what's an Adam and Eve? Like, people are like, what the hell is all this rubbish? This is an Adam and Eve, except Adam comes lower here. Doesn't always have to come lower. I don't think it has to come lower always. Bitcoin, Adam and Eve. See? YouTube secret. I don't want the secret. Don't like that one. Here. Copy image. Oh my god. Can't move things around. So there. So let's put that. Let's hide this Wyckoff now. Just put it all together. That's the Wyckoff here then. And then look. See? There's potentially an Adam and Eve going on there as well. And then the neckline is going to be, according to the Wyckoff, the neckline will be the LPS after you have a buy up. So if this plays out, we are on track to complete this pattern, because you have the bearish trend, you have the Adam, you have the Eve. We have to flip this line into support. Then we have a break, which is the buy up. SOS, it doesn't have to come back to 9 cents. It could. But the neckline is important. So this is really important. The neckline is this level here. It's like the 382 on this chart. Like somewhere about 12 cents. And then we're off to the races. And that actually, maybe that's when the wave one starts here, when we have this break. Wave one, then wave two will be this SOS consolidation. So possibly, guys, if this plays out like the way I draw it, I expect a goodie bag from everyone. I want goodie bags. Right, so that's your wave one. That's your wave two. Wave three, wave four, and whatever. Wave five. That will be your bullish trend. But actually the timing is all wrong, because that's the end of the bull market. That'd be nice. Something like that would be really nice. Like a wave one to break out. Back test the two would be the neckline of this Adam and Eve, which would also be the last point of support on the Wyckoff accumulation schematic for a breakout into this channel up to the top of this channel, which would be the end of the wave three, somewhere about $4.50. Doesn't have to go that far. And back down to test the all-time high for a wave five, which could be weak or it could be strong. We don't know how it's going to behave. No one can predict that. Now, if you were to have a strong wave three and back test the 4 on the top of this channel, then yeah, then that would be that's a completely different bullish idea. Yeah, so this wave 3 and how it ends is going to be very key to the future of the next wave, which would be the wave 5. If you get a break and go further, then naturally people will be looking to reaccumulate higher, because they'll be taking their profit, but they'll still be looking to reaccumulate. All right, so it will look crazy bullish then, and then that could be much higher. So we have to see how this plays out. No one really knows how this is going to happen. All right, but I would be content with that, to be honest with you. I'd be very content with that. I wouldn't complain. I'm not going to complain if we manage to get a wave 3 that pushes up to 4.4 or whatever by September, October time. I would be very happy about that. Actually, I'd be very happy if this small price action plays out the way I've suggested, and our next challenge is to flip this level into support. Now, on the MEX chart, I have it slightly higher up, and I'm not changing the goalposts. I'm just saying that the KuCoin is showing most of the volume, and KuCoin's chart is slightly different. And at the moment, the support line is slightly lower down. But on MEX, the correct Fibonacci level, the correct level, which is from the all-time high at 1.56 through down to the all-time low at 1.9 cents, is here. This 236 is at 55 cents. That's the correct level as far as Fib is concerned, right? So actually, according to this, we might still not be there yet. We might still just be consolidating underneath resistance. But this would fit in very nicely with an Adam and Eve pattern, also with that Wyckoff accumulation idea that I had all the way back in December. In one of my early streams, we were talking about a Wyckoff accumulation. But you see how this is rounding? I mean, everyone can see that, right? And then if we do break, that would fit in to the Wyckoff accumulation, because there is a break here. See, from the lowest point of support up into the SOS, there's a break, and you're basically going up onto this SR flip here, back testing the lowest point of support, and you're breaking this neckline for a buy up, which is your sign of strength, and the sign of strength is making a new high. That's your sign of strength. Then you have these consolidation for the next move. Good morning, Zach. Welcome. So yeah, that's interesting, huh? You're gonna have to, Zach, you're gonna have to look at this stuff, because I've been doing some kind of in-depth analysis on two possible ideas. Wyckoff, which I've already discussed, and then I'm looking possibly at an Adam and Eve bottom pattern on the higher time frame, possibly. And it may be that they're kind of coinciding. There's some kind of symmetry between these two ideas. So definitely have a look at that, and then give me your comments and feedback. Happy to hear other people's opinions. I'm happy to hear everyone's opinion on what I'm seeing. It's very subjective charting, you know, so, you know, someone else might see something else. I don't know. What else is there to be said? The good thing about charting like this is that I can like put a really massive headline: Adam and Eve pattern forming, Wyckoff accumulation pattern almost complete. Get people to click on it. That's what I really want to do. All right. So in case you got to this point, and I appreciate you're coming to join me today, make sure you click on like. Anything else? Does anyone else have anything to say? Let me get rid of the fibs and see what that looks like without the fibs. Right. So the BTC, you could just go back and have a look at it later. It was very short. In a gist, I just, on the higher time, oh, look at that. We did an SFP, huh? That's a lower high. I'm looking for an SFP on this local range. I think the price action is bullish, and I'm just thinking the range has to form a bit longer because we want to squeeze up, and to squeeze up you need a little bit of volume for shorts to enter at these levels. And at the moment, when I was looking at the XO charts, I couldn't see there was a liquidation. I couldn't see many shorts were entering. There's a few longs. That's longs closing, but I can't really see many shorts. And so I think what we're looking for is an accumulation of shorts at the highs, so that we can squeeze up. Otherwise, the only way to go up will be market buying, which is really strange in the highs. At the moment, I can't see any divergences. If anything, all I can see at the moment is a little bit of lack of participation. That's basically what I was saying. So I have this trade planned out. I will take the SFP if it comes. It hasn't come yet, huh? Because look, it made a lower high. It's weird. I don't understand. All right. Anything else, guys? There's a few guys here. And I did an update on DOT because Majid was asking me. And then I also had a look at the Bitcoin, the total market cap. And then Warchild was asking me about whether he thinks 7 trillion is possible. And I think it is. Basically, I think it is. I was having a look at the total market cap. And I don't think it's out of range because do a fib extension. It's the 1.618, but if you were to do a fib extension from here to here, the price, it did go to the 1.618 extend. See, went to the 1.618. So I don't see why the history doesn't repeat itself and for us to extend all the way up to the 1.618. And that coincides very nicely with a trend-based fib, which is the 786 from the 2 to the 3 to the 4, which means that we have quite a large amount of confluence at about 7 trillion. The thing about AVAX, so Zach is asking to have a look about it. There's a lot of other good coins out there. These old coins. I mean, it looks bullish. You have a large amount of volume here. It looks pretty bullish. My only critique on AVAX, the only critique that I have is that I follow a person called Ape in a private Telegram group. He's like a big whale trader. He's a really high risk trader based in London, actually. And he messaged, what did he write? Let me just find that. He says, won't long these POS old coins again, all eyes on the new shiny coins for now. So he was prolific. He was a prolific AVAX longer. He was like highly leveraged longing. I could see his trades, and actually took a trade, which he posted. Is basically you can see his trades and you can just copy them, and it was quite profitable as well, because basically it was, I don't know when it was, but it was like in December, and it went up a lot. But now he's saying that he's looking at the new coins. He's not really looking at these old coins. So it's making me think. But I'll have a look at it. So we're into the value area high. We've tested it once. We back tested this level here very nicely. So that's an SR flip. We had a really weak 5 waves in the last bull market. Just what I'm seeing here, I'll show you. Let me just get these levels. I won't spend too much time on this. I'll just be quick, because I like to mark these levels out just for future reference, because I like to delete the fixed ranges just to see if the volume area actually moves in the future, and it's good to have these levels marked. Group drawings. Zach is asking a question. You have this crazy idea to load up a bag of good coins. Those that have never experienced the bull market before, like MOVR is now. I think that's a good idea, but I also think that, like, for example, TRVL, if TRVL was to have launched, and you're not talking about TRVL, you're talking about MOVR, but it's the same thing. TRVL launched at the end of November 21. It's experienced a whole bear market of volume, and only now is it turning its trend. If they never launched their token back in November and they just launched it today at 9 cents, then the price would now be trading probably now at $1.5 or more, $2, $3 or more. Yeah. Whereas now the price is trading at like 4.8 cents, 4.9 cents, whatever. And you have all of this volume to clear from the previous bear market, right? For people who are accumulating, it's very good, because it means you catch a really good price at the lows, and you're putting volume at the very low. So the chances of coming back down to those levels in the future are significantly reduced. But it does mean that the extension is potentially limited, because you still have to get for a large amount of volume to begin with. Now, you just have to look at the volume from the previous price action to see what work needs to be done. And so with all of these coins that you're thinking about, look at the bear market, look at how much volume's been put in, and then consider whether you're looking to invest in those coins or just catch a coin which is brand new into price discovery from day one. Yeah, because when you're talking about price discovery, there's no volume at all. And so when there's no volume, there's no orders in the order books. And so when people start to try and fill their bags where there's no volume, it pushes the price up. And that's when you get the really high extended prices, overextended prices at the peak of a bull market. It's the behavior is usually with these new coins, and the new coins that are the best new coins are the ones that launch when Bitcoin is pulling back, not when Bitcoin is pushing forward. So there's two types of new coins that you have to think about. The new coins which are launching right now when Bitcoin is pushing to the moon are not the ones of interest. The ones that you should be interested in are the new coins which are off the radar. They launch when Bitcoin is pulling back, because then you'll catch the pullback of a new coin rather than the pump of the new coin. That's what you want. You want the pullback of a new coin. Yeah. And then when there's no volume, these new coins, none of them have volume. It doesn't matter if they go up or down. At the beginning, they don't have volume. The coins that you want to catch are the ones that are launching when Bitcoin is pulling back, when Bitcoin is looking weak, and when the whole market is pulling back. And so no one really buys these new coins when Bitcoin is doing that. And so these coins launch and then they go into some kind of pullback. And then you can collect that new coin for the best price possible. You have to scale into that drop. Yeah. But because we're in the bull market, you're not expecting that coin to hit its own all-time low, which is the launch price. You're expecting it to pull back. You can catch the lows. And then when Bitcoin starts to rally again, these coins will start pumping like crazy. And you've basically caught the lows rather than scaling into the highs as it's pumping. Because in the future, all of these new coins, when Bitcoin pulls back, are going to suffer, because then a lot of people have made their multiple X's. They're going to take their profit at the highs, and the price is just going to crash back down. And what you're actually doing, if you created volume in the highs, which is not what you want to do before a pullback, it's better to create volume in the lows so that when it does pump, you're above the volume now. So that's the strategy. If you want to employ a strategy, you have to look at coins which launch when Bitcoin is looking weak or pulling back or doesn't look so great. That's the moment to accumulate new coins. And it almost doesn't really matter what the coin is. Ideally Binance, actually. Like probably Binance. Like just stick to the best. That's my advice. And that's what I'll be looking to do as well. Okay. And it's a very keen it's a very keen strategy. You have to be very kind of observant and you just keep that mindset. So a lot of the coins now which are pumping, the new ones, I'm not really interested because they launch when everything is pumping. You're not catching the lows, you're catching the highs. I don't like that. TRVL for me is very different because I'm talking about a higher time frame accumulation. And I'm talking about a project which is pioneering a completely unoccupied space in crypto, which is travel and peer-to-peer transactions through apartment rentals. It's a very new and unoccupied space. I think when retail get involved and they see that, it'll click and it makes sense for them, and then they'll invest. And that's kind of what we're hoping for or expecting in the future. Crypto are more interested in like the tech, the AI and all that kind of stuff, the tech part of crypto. So they don't necessarily see Dtravel the way retail might see it. And so actually it's retail are the ones that are going to be pushing the prices up at the end. And so I am expecting TRVL to do very well at the end. If and when we get past the all-time high, when retail get involved, when Bitcoin has pumped enough past its own all-time high, then you're going to get retail going to come and they're going to say, oh my God, Airbnb killer. They're going to buy spot on retail, on market. When it comes to these other coins, they may not do the same thing because they may not understand it. And so for retail, understanding is also important. Understanding also helps. But for us who are a bit early, I think the strategy is go for the new coins which is launching when Bitcoin is looking unsteady. That's the strategy. Okay. Anyway, so we have a little bit of an SR flip here. I think potentially there is a 5-wave here, potentially. So if that was the one, except I can't see 5 waves in that one, but okay, whatever. Doesn't really matter, but actually that's not the one. It's weird because you have one, you have a one. This is how it, I think it's like 1, 2, 3. That's really weird. Okay, never mind. So say it for the sake of argument, that is, the one is up to there. That's the 3. That's the 5. So I don't know if the one is there or there. It's hard to see. Probably there. Probably here actually, somewhere. Because you need like 5 waves, and in this you only have 1, 2, 3. Where's your 4? 5. A, B, C, A, B. I don't know. Some kind of correction here which takes us down to there. This is your 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C. And then you have a 1, 2. I don't know. Some kind of 5 wave there. Like a limp 5. Doesn't really make sense, to be honest with you, to have a 5 after the bull market ended. So then would that be the 5? It's pretty weak the way it works because I can't really see the see. Oh yeah, there is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that is the one. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, kind of. That's 5, 1, 2, 3. All right, let's just say that's correct, hypothetically, without really going into too much analysis. Let's just say that's correct. So there's a few things. That's a really strong one, a less strong 3, and a much weaker 5. Although it did make a new high, in terms of the bullishness, it was weak because you had the most of the expansion was in the first wave. There's like a 21x, then you had a 8x, and then you had like a 1 and 1.8x. So a lot of people here got a little bit burnt at the end, potentially. But then there was quite a large period of time where there was a little bit of a distribution here in this period. So even if they entered late, they could have got out relatively unscathed if they wanted to. Let me just check the volume. I didn't check how much volume was in the highs. Not crazy volume. Most of the volumes are in the middle of the range. That's fine. So we have some kind of correction here. And now we've kind of, I don't know, 1, 2, 3. Maybe we've already done our 1. And we're in some kind of correction now. I'm not fond of this Elliott wave, to be honest with you. I'm not fond of it at all. So I'm not sure. Maybe that was correct. Maybe this was correct. It makes more sense. This makes more sense to me. So you have a 5 after the market because of the timings as well. That you need a little bit of space. Let me just tidy this up as well. Start off there. Oh, look at that. You have a key pivot there that lines up with that high. Doesn't really line up, but it's kind of there, almost there. It's a bit early. Kind of want that to be a bit earlier. I like that that lines up, that pivot, with that fib. And then you kind of lose the timings towards the end. As the further you go, you lose the timings. I think these so Zach is asking, do you see a pullback on BTC as like a realistic one? Let's say 20%. There has to be a 20% pullback, but the question is, how far does it go before it has a 20% pullback? Does it go up to the all-time high and then 20% pullback, back down to where we are now? You know, no one knows. I think I'll show you what I was saying earlier, so you don't have to go back and watch after this, and then I'll be done. I think I'm not fond of this Elliott wave. I think this is correct, what I've just drawn now, because I can see the fib times are kind of lining up almost correctly. You have a really expansive 1, maybe just as expansive 2, 3. Let me see. Not as expansive. See that? So the 3 wasn't as expansive as the 1 because you didn't hit the 1-to-1 on the 3. And then the 5 was a myth. It was a very bearish 5. Okay? I don't like that at all. But there isn't crazy volume trapped in the highs, and we are coming back to the value area high. I think in terms of the extension, you've got your targets, quite simply. I would probably be looking to, I think most people should be happy with an extension that hits $313. So from where we are now, that's a 6.5x. I think 6.5x from where we are now is the extension. I wouldn't necessarily hold my breath for more. Excuse me. And if you get more, you get more. That's fine. But the thing is this, and it's always the same, like, you're in a good position now. Let's say, for the sake of argument, you've invested $1,000. And then you extend 6.5x to the first fib extension. You've held all that way. So you're now at $6,500, right? Now, do you hold longer? Well, if you held with your 6,500 to the next level of resistance. That's a 50% increase in value. You wouldn't do that with 6,500 at the highs for a 50% increase in value. That's how you have to be thinking. You have to be thinking, would I spend X amount of money in the highs for potentially another 50%? Because that's your key extended resistance level, these two. And if it overextends, then you're looking at the 1.618. So potentially you're looking at a 3x. Would you invest the $6,500 for a 3x, which is the chances of getting there are not, you're not like, they're not that high. You're not like, it's not high probability, it's a low probability. And it's always about probabilities. See this, from this one, the peak of this one to this two, it didn't get to this 1.618. Because it didn't get to the 1.618, I'm not thinking that this is going to get to the 1.618. I'm just not thinking that. I'm thinking it's going to get to the 1.272, and at a push, it's going to go to the 1.414. That's what I'm thinking, because it hasn't been going to this 1.618, right? That's how I'm thinking. So in my mind, I think I wouldn't be targeting for the 1.618. I would be targeting for the lower ones. And then when you're already on your investment, whatever your investment is, let's just say $1,000. When you've already up 6.5x, you're at $6,000. Why are you risking $6,000 for another potentially 50% increase in value to $9,000? It's not worth the risk. It's better to just take your profit and move on. And that's it. Your bull run is complete. You've done your AVAX. Who cares? Like if it does suddenly do that, whatever. Then if that's what you're worried about, then you should always just have a little bit as a runner, you know, just have like another $500 in there at the highs, just in case something that you don't care about and you're willing to lose. Yeah, like if you've made $6,500, you might go, I'm taking my 6,000 out. And I don't care. This is the last bit is a gamble. That's all it really is. It's a gamble. The last bit that you're leaving in, you're gambling. That's how you have to think about it. Yeah. And then obviously you can short. That's something else. That's something else you could do if you wanted to do that. But obviously shorting, you have to time it correctly with Bitcoin. It's all about Bitcoin when it comes to shorting alts. You almost don't look at the altcoins when you're shorting. You're looking at Bitcoin. So you'll look at Bitcoin, you'll say, I'm going to short Bitcoin, but instead of shorting Bitcoin, I'll short an altcoin. That's what you're thinking, actually. So it's just about, it's like a leveraged short on Bitcoin when you short an altcoin at the peak of the bull market when it's about to turn into a bear market, right? That's a completely different exercise. But in the first instance, you're looking at your profit targets. Without really going into much deeper analysis, I think just aim for $300. That's it. And then you can obviously take profit along the way. If you're, I don't see why you, I mean, you should really, but if you're, I mean, I don't think I would, now that we're flipping this SR flip, I think I would hold. To be honest with you, I would hodl. I don't know if I would be aggressively taking profit on the way up. I'd probably hodl until I hit my higher targets, and maybe the all-time high would be the first place. The thing about taking profit is the idea is you take profit to put it back in. That's how to compound, you know, because you're expecting a pullback of key levels. You take the profit to put it back in. So you have a compounded position. That's the way to do it if you're going to do it. If you're going to take profit to exit, then you could just wait until the extension of the price in alt season when Bitcoin is past its all-time high. That would be time strategy of how to exit. Yeah. In the meantime, if you're taking profit, you're really looking to put it back in. It doesn't have to be on this coin. It could be on another token. That you're looking to compound your gains when you're taking profit in the midst of the market moving up. That's kind of all that I have to say about it. I can't really, don't know. Maybe a channel as well. I like to do these parallel channels. There. Put it on a higher time frame. It's not crazy exact, but there is a little bit of this midpoint is an area. It's not an exact line, but there is something going on here, and there is something going on here. So I don't know if that's been front run or if that still has to go up and find resistance on the midpoint. The good thing about these channels is they're parallel channels from these two pivot lows to the all-time high. You could pull that bit lower to there. The midpoint isn't so great. Let me just tie it up properly. I don't really like that, to be honest with you. Just prefer it just to the external edges. And then the good thing about having a channel like that is when you put your bull market timings in, to let's say somewhere in September, October 25, then you have the peak of your expansion. Yes, you know, if you hit that point, the 1.414 at the top of this channel, you're not really expecting it to go further, really. So that helps. There's a little bit of a help to see where to take. And then the assumption is that the channel is going to go to the top of the channel. You know, sometimes with these expansions, it's not a straight line, it curves. You know, just no one knows. But at the very least, I'm definitely not expecting it to go to the 1.618. It's above this channel that I have. It's never done that before. It's overextended. So just bear that in mind. All right. What was the other question? Oh, BTC. So with BTC, I was looking at the index right at the beginning today when no one was on. And I was looking at the Bollinger Band, actually, on the higher time frame, on the month, on the weekly time frame. Let me just get rid of my fib time here. And I was looking at the previous bear market, and I'm trying to just cancel out this COVID drop. So what happened was the price went up into the top of the Bollinger Band. It came back down. I'm imagining that really the midpoint should have held, and then that's when the move began. So it kind of came back to the midpoint. And if you look at where we are now, we're very far extended from the midpoint. That's the midpoint. The midpoint is just the moving average 20. Okay. So I almost think we have to come back to the midpoint one more time. That's what I'm thinking. I think that would make sense. And that would be your correction. Now we had the COVID drop allowed the price to get back. And then even if you did have this rally, it still came back to the midpoint. So I do think we should come back to the midpoint. I do think that. I think that would make sense before we kind of go parabolic on Bitcoin. But, you know, no one can predict that. Like, it's just an idea of somewhere where you would definitely look to get involved if it came one last time. Like, you're not expecting it, but if it did come back, that would be a really good place. And then if you look at the monthly time frame, this is the COVID low here. And so you see, we are quite far extended from the monthly 20 moving average. And that's not how the price behaves or has behaved in the past. It's very unusual to go from the low of a Bollinger Band in a rally into expansion. It's very unusual for that to happen. I've never really seen that happen, to be honest with you. Now here it hasn't gone from the low, it's gone from, it kind of was at the 20 for a while before it went up. And then there was a pullback. There was an attempt to pull back, that's the point. And this was really bullish. And here it was different because there was an attempt, and I think right now we're quite extended. When I look at the 20 moving averages, I almost feel that we need to come as close as possible to these moving averages one more last time before we actually make a push up. And I don't know if it's going to touch, but possibly on the weekly basis, it will touch. Here you see, that was September the 20th, August the 20th. So you had your halving rally, and that was your pullback. Would you wait until then? But that was the move. Like, when people contemplate the move, that was the move that people wanted. This was the halving. The halving was May. So from the halving until the beginning of the rally, it only went up 35%. And then you did have a pullback back to the midpoint of this weekly Bollinger, and that was a 22% pullback. That's kind of what you want to catch, right? That pullback. That's the pullback you want. We haven't really had that. And I don't class these as correct because it didn't hold support at the 20. So, and I don't know if that's it. I don't know. I do think that we're a bit overextended right now, in the context of being a little bit early. So I don't imagine, like, what I'm thinking to myself is BlackRock and all these big players will take their profit in the highs here, and then we'll see the pullback. And will it make a lower high? That would be very bullish, because then you get shorts are getting involved, huh? I mean, I think both of them, because that's what you really want to squeeze up. You want shorts to get involved. So here you made a lower high, see? And then here you made a lower high. Excuse me. I kind of feel like we have to make a lower high and not make a higher high here. So shorts can get involved, and then we can squeeze up, properly squeeze up. That's kind of what you want. And then you just want to find resistance on this moving average and then squeeze. That's what this was. These were all, it's like shorts are closing at market. I don't know if it matters if it comes, like Zach is asking pre-halving. I don't think it matters if it comes pre-halving or post-halving, but I think we have to see a big take profit, and we haven't really seen that yet. And I don't think anyone who is long from these lows at the beginning of last year, if they're hodling, I don't see why they wouldn't take profit, especially if they're leveraged at these highs. Why wouldn't they? That would make no sense. And maybe they'd start, I mean, maybe they're looking, the next push up will be their big take profit, and that would be it. And then we're starting to see a decline. And then I do want to see the, like, we haven't really seen a Bitcoin halving alt season either. So I'm wondering if we're going to see that. I don't think we've seen that yet. Where ETH rallies, you know. I'm kind of expecting that. TRVL's dropped a little bit, hasn't it? That sucks. Stop selling. And tell people to stop selling. Oh, it's only dropped on KuCoin. KuCoin is leading the way on the volume. It's only KuCoin. All right. BET. I don't know. Let me have a look at BET quickly. I don't think I've got any updates. Look, it's, oh my god. Dude, it's up like a lot. You don't need updates. It's bullish. Look at that. There you go. I had the trade. There's the trade. I didn't take it, but I did. What did I say? I can't remember what I said. I'm going to have to go back and have a look at my video. The hell? Majid, what updates do you want? Look at that. I guess that trade plan was good. I'm going to have to go back and watch the video now and see what I said. I think I said it. It was an SR flip. Wow. You're into the value area high now. SR flip. Look, I've got it marked. SR flip. I think I said that's the trade. Look. I should have taken it, yeah. I'm not good at taking multiple trades at the same time. So I'm trying to just focus on Bitcoin and TRVL. It's just too much to look at. Too many charts. Too much management. That was a good trader. Shit. Well, anyway, you should take profit now if you traded, and if you're not trading it and you're just hodling it, you're fine. Look at that. You've just made a higher high. That's your higher low. You're into another higher high. Bullish market structure continues. You're into the value area high now. You're coming into the bull market point in control, but basically you've had your Elliott waves 5. This is the consolidation. Looks a little bit like a head and shoulders pattern too, like an extended one. Okay. And then we had the SR flip, which I marked here. And then I had the trade plan. It's good. Trade plan worked. All right. I think that's it for today, guys. I appreciate your participation. And I've got some editing to do now. Not much. So have a wonderful day and see you tomorrow. And stop selling TRVL. I'm just joking. All right. Do what you want. Bye.